Seattle's massive fault may result from the oceanic crust unzipping itself 55 million years ago. Magnetic data suggests Seattle's fault line formed 55 million years ago when the southern half of the subduction chain of volcanic islands piled onto the continent and tore apart from the northern half. A hazardous fault line that runs south of downtown Seattle may have formed when the edge of the North American continent tore apart 55 million years ago, a new study suggests. Seattle sits atop the Cascadia subduction zone, where the explorer Juan de Fuca and Gorda tectonic plates slide beneath the much larger North American plate. This eastward movement pulled a string of volcanic islands similar to present-day Iceland towards the continent and eventually caused a collision that's still visible in the bedrock beneath the city. New maps of this bedrock reveal the collision was extremely messy, with the northern half of the island chain riding the oceanic crust and slipping under the continent, and the southern half piling onto the continent. The twist in Earth's crust, where the islands switched from being subducted to abducted or added to the top of the continent, would have been under tremendous strain and likely ripped in half. It would have been this slow, ongoing tear, almost like the crust unzipping itself, study lead author Megan Anderson, geophysicist at the Washington Geological Survey, said in a statement. As this progressed, the tear fault got longer and longer. The tearing likely ended with the islands finishing crunching into the continent. Anderson and her colleagues tested the scenario using computer models. I found that the resulting gash in Earth's crust overlapped perfectly with Seattle's fault line. The wear and tear the surrounding crust would have suffered also aligned with a network of shadow faults beneath the densely populated Puget lowland area. Now, previous research into the region splintered geological past relied on seismic data, which are sound waves that travel at different speeds underground depending on the layers of rock they encounter. For the new study, published February 6 in the journal Tectonics, the researchers mapped the density and composition of rocks beneath western Washington state using gravity and magnetic field measurements, and then they paired their results with seismic data and collected rock samples to build a clear picture of the area's geology. The magnetic data revealed secrets that seismic data alone could not have unveiled, namely that magneticity alternates within the bedrock and that rocks on each side of the Seattle fault line are angled away from each other. Slabs of rock to the north of the fault line lie in northwest to southeast diagonal, whereas slabs to the south are angled from northeast to southwest. These are all very different orientations, Anderson said. It's very hard to do that unless there's a place where the structures get disconnected from each other and then restart. The results point to a new origin story for the Seattle fault line, one that could help scientists fine-tune their earthquake hazard models. The most recent damaging earthquake in western Washington state was the magnitude 6.8 Nisqually earthquake, which struck in 2001. Massive quakes also occurred in 1700 and around 900 AD, when the simultaneous rupture of faults shook the Seattle area. There's a lot more uncertainty about the Seattle fault than, for example, the San Andreas faults, Anderson said. The Seattle fault could generate something like a magnitude 7.2 earthquake, and we want to be prepared for it. There's still a lot to learn so that engineering geologists can do better simulations for earthquakes and understand the potential risks to our communities. This is by Satya Power on Live Science. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.